色不異空，空不異色，色即是空，空即是色，受想行識。
Yeah, let's give let's bow and namaste, welcome, namaste. Please be seated. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's program. Let's have a chat with Ani Choying Drolma. We're very happy to meet Ani Choying Drolma. Welcome. And being with us also, we have others of the Spgahk Master Kim and our best of the Spgahk Master Chudang and Master Himwon. Thank you very much. And also we have young Ani to come together with Ani Choying. Young Ani Choying. Welcome. So before coming today, I've checked online for the background of Ani Choying, and I found so thousands of facts or loads of achievements that Ani has made to the members of public and the community. And I think maybe we know a little bit about Ani Choying, but I would like to feed you some background information, some significant facts to share with you first before Ani shares with us her inspiring story. Ani Choying Drolma is the founder of the Nuns Welfare Foundation of Nepal. She was born in Kathmandu of Nepal. She comes from Nadi Gompa Nunnery in Nepal. Excuse me if my pronunciation is not really correct. And of course, we know Ani is a Buddhist nun, and also, of course, we know another important fact from her is she's an internationally renowned singer. People may have named her as a rock star nun. So far, there have been 12 albums released. 12 albums. Wow, so really great. One of the, or some of the albums are named Chor, Chor, which was the debut album released in 1997. And Ani's Voice of Nature was firstly discovered by an American guitarist, Steve Tibbetts. It's my Tibbetts, Steve Tibbetts. Maybe in a while, Ani will share more with us. And maybe you have found many YouTube videos of Ani singing, like some other songs from the albums Moment of Bliss, Inner Peace, Volumes 1 and 2. And other than the capacity of singer, of course, Ani is a philanthropist. She has been paying significant efforts in humanitarian aspects of works, in the education of young girls, care of elderly, and providing medical services for the underprivileged. And in 2009, Ani's autobiography, Singing for Freedom, was released, and it was originally written in Français, in French, and then this autobiography was translated, or since has been translated into 11 languages.
15.
Oh, 15 now. So is there any Chinese for our readers, local readers?
yet.
Not yet. So maybe we should ask for the local publishers to get a Chinese translation, so more local readers and Buddhists can benefit from your sharing. And then in 2014, Ani Choying was appointed as UNICEF. Have you heard of this international NGO? Yes. As UNICEF, Nepal's first ever national ambassador. So as an ambassador, Ani Choying is a public voice who, of course, do lots of work to protect the children, not only in Nepal but worldwide. Children and adolescents from violence and create a happy and safe environment for them to grow up. Well, I think I've spent just a few minutes, but of course there are still a lot to let you know today about Ani's inspiring story. So we would like many from you, and we can't wait to hear from you, of course not from me. I think from the background or from the information that I can check online, we know that you have a childhood, you have an experience of domestic violence in your childhood, and later on you went to a nunnery to learn Buddhist teaching, and I would like to know from you, after you have come to know the Buddhist teaching like the law of originating, dependent, law of karma, cause and consequences, what do you feel about your childhood experience now?
First of all, my humble respect to the veterans. And good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Well, first of all, I have to correct some of the things that when I first took refuge and entered a nunnery, it wasn't really because I was very devoted to Buddha or Buddhist teaching, to be very honest. It was only escape that I could see at that time. And because my mind, my heart was filled with fear about having to get married someday, where to someone who I would not know, and someone who would be chosen by my dad, and that person could be someone much older than me, because my father, my father and mother, they have age difference of 25, and my mother was actually forcefully given away to my dad, just because that he made some money. So knowing all those stories, backgrounds, and then being in an atmosphere where a lot of violence was taking place. And not only violence in the sense of physical, but very emotional, verbal, and not only individual at home, but at the social level, you know, like society, people in the neighborhood and everywhere. I see this very injustice, unfair treatment we saw in our society towards women, and not only women, but girls in general also are affected. Where at a very young age, I was actually expected to do work from the age of 5, actually, where I started helping my mom carrying water from far away. And from now, when I think of the age of 5, when I see a little girl at the age of 5, I feel like, oh my God, so tiny, so cute, you know? How would I have been able to carry water? But that time, I wasn't in the notion of being small, little one, you know, unable to do such thing. But yet, as I loved my mom so much, so I used to carry water for her. And slowly I helped her more. I got to learn more things to do. So it was an escape. And then I thank Buddha and Bodhisattva for all that I made the right choice. The escape was the best escape I can ever think of. And whatever experiences that I had, memories of those violent moments in my life, today when I look back, I can look at it as a blessing in disguise, to be honest. And I think this is the power of blessing and the powerful blessing of Buddha, to be able to see unfavorable things in a way that we can transform them as a blessing. So that's where yesterday when Venerable she was translating to me about how Master Hinyon and Master keep having a conversation on the video about conversion. And that's where I feel like Buddhism is not about converting from one religion to another religion. Buddhism is about converting all the negative into positive. Converting our weaknesses into strength. To bring the best out of the worst. And that's why I think the lotus is very much symbolized as the teaching of Buddha, where even though it's in the mud, purely clean, undefiled, that's a symbolic thing. So somehow I went through the process of being able to heal myself from being so negative, angry, and full of hatred, actually, to be very honest. When I was growing up as a child, young child, even though I escaped to a nunnery, I was in a nunnery among so many other nuns, and of course the greatest teacher, I was so blessed with his blessing to be his student. Yet I was still that very wounded, angry, unhappy child. But with the love, with the kindness that I received from my teacher, but not only my teacher, but of course my other nuns, sisters, I felt like slowly I was healing. The wounded child was being healed. So I would not say I'm completely healed today, where I am. The reason why I say that is I'm still unable to be free from the thoughts of being anger, experiencing anger or disappointment and so on. But I really am so happy about the fact that I'm not clinging to it. Those disappointments, whichever I feel, or I do feel them, but I'm able to let it go. It doesn't stay with me too long. That means I'm less unhappy. So I experience more happiness in life. So that's how my reason to become a nun.
Yeah, just a moment ago you mentioned that it is a progress of conversion of self-defiled thoughts, anger, hatred, or resentment into a healing process. So what kind of methods did you use?
What
were taught with the methods?
I'm unable to really explain these things in a technical way. I lived it, to be honest. I lived it. When I say this, it's not about me in the process of transforming my energy to that from negative to positive, but I was living under the blessing of my teacher, that whole atmosphere, the behavior, and then the treatment that I received in that atmosphere from my teacher to my sisters. This whole thing was a very forceful and effective, in a very gentle way, to transform my thoughts and my way of thinking and way of living. There was a moment when I was suddenly I became free, like a bird who was completely free out of a cage. I was flying here and there and up and down, and I could be as naughty as I was, actually, to be very honest. And I realized later on that my teacher actually let me experience that. Because I now more and more I realize when I think of those times, I'm very much clear that my teacher knew what I came from and my condition was and how he really tried to handle me with so much of life experiences to go through which I probably was able to heal at a certain level.
And your teacher in the nunnery was Toku Urgent Rinpoche. Yes. And given the days when Nepalese girls or women, their social status was and is pretty low, and also the illiteracy is pretty high.
Very high.
Yeah. And when you first arrived there in the nunnery, and your teacher was being a gentleman, and you say, well, he knew me, he knew where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell us more about that?
After I entered the nunnery, I took refuge there, and the next few days, the first best experience is to be free from your hair, which was often actually, what do you call it? My dad used to drag me, used to be the handle for him. So I was free from that. So I was very happy about that. And the other thing is I didn't have to get up very early and do dishes, you know. I didn't have to do a lot of laundries, and I didn't have to take care of my two younger brothers. And above all was that I didn't get to see fights, beatings. And the gesture that I was able to experience among everyone, my teacher to his students and my sisters to me, was all very kind and very caring. So that itself was very wonderful, really wonderful. And it helped me to realize that, oh, it's okay, I'm a child, which notion was not there earlier. Back at home, I was always told that you're a girl, you should be doing all these works. You know, you're a girl, you should be learning all these things to do. You know, so as being a girl, it's your responsibility. So that's what I was told. I was never told about, oh, you're just a young girl. You know, you can't do this. Don't do it. Never ever. So up there, I was like treated like a child. And that feeling was so wonderful. And it's okay to be naughty. And it's okay to eat whatever you want to eat, as many as you want. So, especially I used to love this at that time, the very newly introduced in the market was the instant noodle.
Was it hot and spicy?
It was called YY from Thailand. YY, yeah. Yeah, it's from Thailand. So I used to eat almost like 5-6 of them a day, actually. And then like eggs. I loved eggs, so I could eat 8 and I had the. So I could eat as many as I want, and then that was a wonderful feeling as well, because I felt like I'm not judged or I'm not restricted from things. Running up and down. This is a little bit on the hillside. So right now I'm here, and then immediately I'm somewhere down there. So I was like really exploring the wildness that I could have in me to the fullest, I guess. And slowly a lot of the senior nuns were annoyed by it. And they used to complain to my teacher. And then I remember once very clearly my teacher telling one of the senior nuns, leave her alone, she's just a kid. And at that time I was even more, you know, like, now my teacher loves me, you know, so I can do this. So, yeah, I lived that moment as well. But then slowly, as even though my behavior was getting a little out of control, being wild, the senior nuns were slowly getting more and more annoyed. and disturbed. And there was more and more complaints, not only to my teacher, but directly to me as well. They started scolding me and tried to discipline me. But I was very, deep inside I was filled with anger. So I would not leave any chances to let those anger out to whoever I can. So I used to do that to my senior nuns as well. So if they say something to me, I would answer them to double and talk back impolitely, which I regret, of course, today. And but then, as I was growing up slowly, and I started loving my teacher more and more, I can feel, and I realized slowly as I becoming matured. Now these nuns going to my teacher complaining about me, and of course that means disturbing him. But he's not being, angry to me, yet so kindly and gently he's handling me. So I slowly realized that, I should not let him go through this kind of difficult situation where he has to deal with the others' complaints. So how I tried to deal with it, I was still a very angry person. So I really tried to control replying back. And that means like suppressing my emotion quite a lot, strongly. So since we were around in a jungle, like the forest, so I used to get into the forest and I used to scream to the loudest as I could to let out. And that's how I slowly tried to, I think, discipline and try to become more thoughtful about how I'm doing, how I'm dealing with the others. And the more deeper I was in love with my teacher, the more I loved him, the more I wanted to care about him. The more I really wanted to sincerely care about him was to control my behavior, to really behave properly. That means less trouble to him. And that's how I think the transformation definitely is not an overnight thing, It's not something that my teacher was that he put his hand on my head and then something changed. It was a
day-to-day interaction with him.
And I think this is how the power of kindness and compassion can really, really touch or transform someone's behavior without technically making it look like you. My teacher did not really do things to transform me, yet I was being transformed. Because my love towards him was growing, and his kindness was as usual, as huge as, I don't know if I can really come up with the size, but I felt so safe and secure and so loved and so cared when I'm in front of him. So this is how I think it's so powerful.
Yeah. It's the day-to-day interaction that you build up a connection with your teacher, and because you were embraced by his kindness, love, and compassion, and bit by bit, you grew the seed in your heart yourself.
I think so, because every time I see his very caring and kindness nature towards not only me but towards all and everyone, I always felt like, wow, I really admired him and I adored him, and I was like completely wow about everything, and then each and every wow experiences made me feel like, oh, I wish I could do that. So somehow I think that wish grew stronger and stronger in me, in a way that I started to bring that behavior, try to bring that behavior in me, however it was possible. But of course, I'm nowhere near to any of his qualities, not even one pore of his kindness, of course. But yet, of course, the source of my little bit of the goodness that people admire today in whatever I do, that is in this form of social service, or the way I sing, or the way I try to evaluate my existence, my efforts in this world is all because of this blessing. And today, when I look back, I'm equally grateful towards my father.
Yes. Right. Because here in SPGA, as we have been taught by our respectable Master Inyo, she once coached us or shared with us that even the physical body of somebody who has been your loved one, he or she has left physically, but actually he or she is here deep inside your heart. As long as you carry forward her or his love, compassion, kindness, and strength, and then you play them forward to benefit more and more people, then he or she will forever live here in your heart.
Very true, very true. And in fact, I'm sorry, I'm a very emotional person, I'm sorry. If I could have teach you. Sometimes I really am not so happy about my tears. It just comes anytime. It's so.
I think one of the good things to be aware of our emotion is to be with our emotions, to embrace our emotions. We are conscious of our emotions. That's what we are learning. So
true.
Yeah. We appreciate that we are all like this. We are all humans, and every day we are learning. Yeah.
When physically someone is present with you, you somehow you don't really value as much as you would do it when their physical presence is not there. I feel that way. Now I feel like my teacher lives in me. Well, and I have this confidence deep inside me, thinking that as long as I don't never forget him, I will not lose my track. Occasionally, yes, I do get distracted. I do get carried away. That's very honest. I do get engaged in the emotional drama of being disappointed or being a little bit angry or a little bit anxious and a little bit of, what do you say it, all those emotions actually, excitements and so on. But then again, whenever I think of my teacher, it helps me to be grounded and be able to rejoice all the goodness that exists around me, around everybody. And every time I see someone smiling sweetly, I deeply rejoice. Every time I experience someone being so kind to me or to somebody else, even I can observe somewhere far away, it gives me immense pleasure deep in my heart. So I think that's how he lives in me, I think. And to recall one of the moments when I was really, really very physically ill. And when you're very ill, you feel like a little bit sometimes helpless. And at that moment, the love, sincere love and care that somebody gives you actually, it's more delicious. And I recall that moment when I had the very fortunate opportunity to pay my respect to Master Inyo. Though I met her for the first time, that hug from her, that gaze from her was so warm, so powerful. Yeah, I was like a little, weak child being embraced in her love. And I really cherished that moment so much. And not only because, I know you all might be feeling the same way, but for me, maybe I feel stronger because I was in that condition at that time where I was so much hungry for that caress of a mother, which was so unconditional. And at the same time, there was so much encouragement that I could feel very clearly. And so I really truly feel blessed. That at the need of the time when I really needed a compassionate touch from someone, I was blessed with the meeting Master Yin. So since then, I think deep in my heart, I feel I'm part of this family. How much of a difference I have made, I don't know. But I will not evaluate that at all. But the joy is that I'm there.
Ani just talked about her meeting with Master Yin Yang. I think we all could feel the same. That's where the occasion when the two bodhisattvas, 兩個菩薩相見嘅時間, the two bodhisattvas met. You and Master Yin. Yeah, I think we all agree.
I wish to
no
be.
objection.
I do wish to be. My aspiration is definitely very clearly there, but yet I would not put myself in comparison to Master Yin Yang.
It's not a comparison, but you are really a humble Ani.
I'm an aspiring bodhisattva.
But it's great to be inspired by your own teacher, Rinpoche, and it's really nice. Like we have been inspired by Master Yin Yang. She, of course, she lives in our heart.
There's a saying that you're more home when you're away from home. That's how you know. When you're at home, you're really not home because your mind and thoughts wanders around. But when you're away from home, then your mind and thoughts are in your home. So similarly, when physically masters are present and you can meet, you just feel, oh, he or she's there. But then suddenly, physical absence of them makes you feel like they're everywhere. They're in me. Because you constantly think of them all. Every little good things that you go through experiences. Like for me, it's such as every time I feel something good and something good happens, the first person I think of comes in my mind is my teacher. I feel very grateful to him. And even in the difficult times, the first person I can think of is my teacher. That reminds me of a moment when I was going through the earthquake, when this building was totally swinging. As I was coming to a point of understanding that this is it, the last moment, it's ready to go. If that's it, then that's it. So the first person I could think of in my mind was my teacher. And then so on. So I think that's how I think they can live in our heart, who has been the strength, the guidance.
And just now you told us that now you've become less angrier and happier person. And when you
compared to the
time
when I was
yes.
doesn't mean I still
yes. And when you were an adolescent, you firstly joined the nunnery. Of course, at that time, maybe you bore grudges, hatred, anger, and you even ran into the forest to scream out, to let out your emotions. So how did you overcome those emotions and self-ego? And then you aspire and then have a vow. Oh, I wish I could do something great like what my teacher had been doing. So when you have the aspiration or vow or to work or to pay more efforts to help others,
the more and more when I realize that I have the potential to not only free myself, but I have the potential to free others from their difficulties, or at least be a source of comfort or ease in their life. That gave me more strength, actually, and that made me more peaceful. When you feel that I'm capable, I'm not weak, I have the ability to do something, my existence has a meaning and I have a purpose. And when your mind is engaged in such a vision with such aspiration, I think there will be not much of a time or energy you would have to spend on thoughts of, what can I do? I'm nothing. And that kind of thought actually makes you more weak and generate more anger, jealousy, frustration, and desperate thoughts in mind. So, as Buddha's teaching is always there, that we all have the ability to achieve enlightenment, the Buddhahood, the seeds of Buddha in all of us. And not only that, but my teacher very lively gave me that, always gave that example to gain such confidence in me, to believe in that. And trust me, every time I try to do something good, it always gave me so much joy, made me feel good, really. And that's what I enjoyed, feeling good. I really felt good, and a lot of the time it was more of a experience that actually healed me, myself. And going through such a childhood, at times I do feel, and I was able to analyze the fact that somewhere, subconsciously somewhere, there's still kind of a hose that you feel. It's some kind of an unfulfilled space. And every time I was able to go through such effort and make such difference, and was able to do some good deeds, meaningful, I felt as if those holes were being filled up, erased. The more and more I did experience those things, the more relaxed I could feel, more relaxed, more comfortable, mentally, emotionally. And that means probably I gained more confidence and less questions about what I am, what I can do, who I am, and so on.
So by doing the good and meritorious deeds, actually it is a journey of self-discovery.
Well, a journey of self-discovery, not something from outside that people will endure or anything. I think it's more of inside, getting to know who I am, or to be more back to the natural, real natural essence of yourself. Because we often seems to be always expecting and hoping for validation from outside, from somebody else, and that always causes a lot of confusion, frustrations, disappointments, like, oh, what I did is something, oh, they don't believe in me. Because you always wait for their validation. And that is such a sad situation. When you believe in something, you do it. That gives the deepest satisfaction one can experience, because you fulfilled your wishes. And that's how I felt. And regarding especially in my singing career, so-called singing career, at times, of course, at the very early stage of my so-called singing career, there were a lot of criticism, lots and lots of criticism, especially from my own monastic communities. They thought that I'm getting engaged into something to totally dereputate the Buddha's teachings and so on. But deep in my heart, I really believed it. And I said to myself, I'm doing it. I don't care what people say. Because deep inside my heart, I don't feel that I'm doing something wrong. And the confidence was there as such that, though I'm not a scholar, really, I'm not a highly learned person, I'm just a simple, ordinary person, almost to uneducated, academically, I would say. But deep inside, I have the faith in the understanding of Buddha's teaching is that you have to be skillful according to the time, place, and people. But the most important thing is to be kind and thoughtful. So, and that's what I felt like I'm doing. I'm trying to do. I would not claim that I have done a lot, but I was very sincerely trying to get engaged myself into that, you know, emotionally, verbally, physically, however way I could, I tried. And that always gave me confidence in what I did. And today, yes, there's a point now that actually I'm invited more by the monastic events, you know, to perform and to be appreciated, and which I am very happy about, because now that means like more energy is there, definitely. I do appreciate that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I totally dependent on it. So things like that seems to happen. I'm a bit of a stubborn person. So.
And regarding your singing, you just mentioned about your singing. We all know in our eyes, you've got a gift. Yeah, a gift. 天籟之音, a voice of nature. Do you find it your voice a gift? And do you think so?
I will often tell people I'm not a fan of myself. So but I definitely rejoice on the fact that people do enjoy my singing. Because very often I get the feedback from people that sense of peace, and they feel it's very soothing and helps them to be free from the stress. Last night, even one woman came to me and said her boss often plays my music to them whenever they are in stress. I feel really blessed, really, that I could bring that effect or impact on someone. And it's not so easy to make people happy. So, but yet me, without having to put much of an effort, invest much, and having this opportunity or the ability to give that impact itself is something very, very wonderful blessing that I could think of. And I tell people that I consider my music ability as a magic wand, which I have realized the power of it. The more I use this for the benefit of not only myself, but for the others, the more powerful my magic wand becomes. And I can do more. So I think, and I do believe that all of us individually, every one of us, have been blessed with a magic wand in different forms. Some with the ability to speak, some with the ability to write, some with the ability to paint, a lot of different ways, as you consider as a profession, to move ahead in life for your daily survivals and to fulfill your desires of the future, fantasies, and so on. But only difference is that some of us are able to recognize that we have a magic wand with us in life, and some of us don't realize that we have a magic wand. Some who realizes there's a magic wand, but they only use it to very limited purpose, which is only oneself. And some very happily able to realize the power of that, and not only oneself, they use it for the benefit of others. Whether that is limited up to their family or friends or neighbors or local community to global community, whatever. So that's the only difference, I guess.
So did you receive any formal training after you find, I love singing? Did you receive any training from your teachers?
My teacher taught me these melodies, not for the purpose of becoming a so-called singer, as you would nowadays consider me as. But the singing was all learned or trained for the purpose of practicing meditation. So the attitude is totally different. I think the difference sometimes people think of, try to find out about me singing and the others singing. It's only difference is that, when I sing, my attitude is different towards singing. So for them, maybe singing is more of a purpose for the entertainment, to impress people. They want to look the best, they want to do something extraordinary or perform and exhibit their vocal ability to different levels and so on. But when I sing, I just sing. And of course, I don't sing any of those tragic love songs which I don't believe in it. I don't wish to be in it. But yet, when I sing, I humbly sing, and I have to believe in what I'm singing. So that's probably is the difference. Otherwise, technically, I'm not a trained musician as the others. In fact, I call myself, I'm a very illiterate musician. But I can feel music, which everyone can. Anyone who can feel the heartbeat, who has ability to bring sweetness in their speech.
To be honest, without looking at your face, when I just listened, how come Ani was as if like a native speaker of a Cantonese speaker. You just had a small piece of paper in your hand. I think we all want to know what you wrote on your paper to make you seem like a native Cantonese speaker. Of course, without looking at your face, you really seem like a native speaker.
I think for that case, I think I have a musical ear, so I can imitate or observe the accent of people. Because I've been to Hong Kong so many times, I'm very familiar with the language. Though I don't understand all of them, but somehow, from the intonation and everything, I know, as I was last night saying, the first phrase I learned to say is, 洗手緊喺邊度啊? So yeah, sometimes I'm able to fool people about my knowledge in language.
Yes. Of course, we are curious to know what Ani wrote on a small piece of paper. Of course, we are curious to learn from Ani. Yeah, like hymns, mantras, or even some lines of chanting that for us to remember or to bear in mind easily, so that maybe we can share after today's sharing with you or with our friends, families, or even children. So maybe I think we should give a warm round of applause. We have the honor to learn from Ani. So we can feel the magic.
The easiest is to learn Om Mani Padme Hum, which everybody knows.
Any rhythm that we should learn?
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.
the sounds of the water running from the waterfalls. So soothing.
Thank you.
Wow, so nice. And any other humble request to Ani to coach us or to share with us any lines or melodies or chants? Feel free to ask. This is the golden opportunity.
Ani, nice to coming to our comment. And the moment with us. We all need a power, a positive power. We are requesting to have some green Tara singing for us, then we can follow.
I think, okay, power. Everybody wants power. I think more than seeking it from outside, I think if we learn to seek inside, that is something is more sustainable. And we often think that, oh, somebody putting a hand on your head means you can solve your problem. Even the Buddha seemed to have said that I cannot liberate you, but my teachings can. You can only liberate yourself. I can teach you how to liberate yourself. So I think when Buddhas have said that I cannot liberate you, means how can you believe somebody else can solve your problem or take away your problem? So I think the best way is to be able to cultivate the analytical ability within oneself to understand the nature of your emotion as you are going through whatever it is, or nature of your circumstances, whatever it is that you are going through. But at the same time, when you supplicate to Tara or Shakyamuni or Amitabha or whoever, that really is able to help us invoke that within ourselves. It's not something coming from outside in us. We already have that strength. That's how I believe, actually. So I'm not here actually someone who is very highly realized or highly learned person to give teaching to anyone or to tell people what they should do. I'm just simply sharing my experience, how I have been able to deal with those kind of expectations in life. And your desires to be powerful and clear and, to be able to do everything perfect. But yet, the best is when we are able to understand that sometimes things are not necessarily able to happen as perfectly as we sometimes fantasize about. Maybe the fantasy that we carry maybe is not so practical, So it's almost like in one of my songs I have said that realizing the worthlessness of the wealth and power, I renounced it. I practiced renunciation, but in the renunciation itself, I cultivated arrogance in me. So sometimes we end up doing that, and we burn our own fire, and we ask for the water ourselves. It's almost like cheating oneself. So that's how I occasionally feel and realize, and then I just contemplate on the fact that, oh, how can I be so stupid? Oh, no. And then when you think of your teacher, these masters, it gives you kind of a strength to, oh, these masters have been able to free themselves from these dilemmas. And they are an example for us. So this is a source of inspiration. You have an idol in front of you to look at and say, yes, they are there. I'm following that. And thinking of blessing of Tara is of course thinking of her wisdom, her compassion, what we can invoke in ourselves. And I think that's how we can really invoke that power or blessing that we can really aspire to have in ourselves. That's how I try. And it helps, actually. For me, it helps.
Just like a girl with a motherhood.
Absolutely.
You will feel very peaceful, and then just like the person you are really rely on.
True.
So it means some support, social bring power to say, like in the BC wall, we can assign someone to close few words. So yeah, so that's why I'm
It's
asking.
very true. What you're saying is also what I really can agree to it. Yeah, it does help because when we say the word Tara Drolma or Shakyamuni or Amitabha itself actually resonates that blessing, of course, because our mind immediately gets into that mode, and it does help. So I will definitely sing Om Tari Tari very so.
Ani, talking about your singing, I'm aware that an emotion just arose inside, greed, because I'm greedy and I would like to listen more to your singing. I think even my masters are here. You have no problem with my emotion, arising of my greedy emotion. So I would like to know that, is there a song or some songs that you would definitely share with your audience whenever you are doing your worldwide concert tour? Since you did your first one in 1998, so I think hopefully I'm not incorrect. You almost every year you did a concert tour. So is there a song or some songs that you would definitely share with your audience?
I always share these mantras actually, as I said earlier. Unfortunately or fortunately, I am not able to sing tragic love songs. Some of those songs are very melodious, especially like Teresa Tang. She's a very lovely singer. I enjoy listening to them, but I don't think I can sing them. Yeah. So it's all mantras, really. What I mostly share when I travel in Chinese-speaking countries is taoism, of course, and Tara mantra, Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakti Soha, and other traditional melodies that I often do. So you want all of them, or?
Yeah, I think I already before you came today, I've already asked permission from my masters that if it's fine with you, then I think we are so happy to listen more. You can share more. You're singing your voice of natures with us today. 全根師傅同埋船師傅係咪都可以啊？係得唔可以
？Okay, one thing at a time, so one by one. So Om Tari Tu Ri Soha, 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 Om Tari
Tare soha Om tare tu tare ture soha Om tare tu tare ture soha Om tare tu tare ture soha.
Really enchanting. beyond words. And any more songs that you would like to hear or listen?
Thank you for it. Thank you for being here. You're so proud and listen to your sharing.
Would you please switch off your microphone?
I think this is not easy.
Oh really? It doesn't work?
Oh no. There's a button underneath. Can I ask you a funny question? Because I talk too much during my job, so I would like to share with us. Is there any other way you can protect your voice?
I often sometimes also face that challenge. My voice gets affected when there's too cold aircon in the room. Not only my voice, but my whole body actually feels maybe aircon is a little bit unnatural way. I don't know, maybe it cracks, my voice cracks. Other than that, if I have too oily stuff, it seems to make some disturbance. Other than that, I don't know. But I think most important thing is that humbleness really helps. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your voice to be very small. Humbleness also gives confidence, but yet with absence of your arrogance, thinking that I know everything, that sometimes, has the resonance of some unpleasant frequency in your voice that will be something that people won't be able to enjoy, even though it's maybe not clear. But yet, when somebody speaks, maybe this person is not the most best speaker, but yet when somebody speaks kindly and truly from their heart, it touches everybody. So I think that's what matters the most. And your respect to the people who you are speaking to, I think, is very important when you speak. Otherwise, that the energy, the frequency of your self-notion of knowing everything is kind of really, your frequency is not as irreachable as it could be when you speak kindly and respectfully. I hope I make sense.
Yes, it's about the substance, the attitude and sincerity when you sing or when you talk to people.
I believe when we behave, our thoughts, our emotions, our verbal energy, everything seems to have frequency. Even though when you say nothing, yet still can say something from your inner function of your emotions or everything. So it resonates, these frequencies to people, and that probably gives some kind of an impact. That's how I feel. Otherwise, as I said earlier, I'm not technically a perfect singer. But yet, whatever I sing it sincerely from my heart, with the best aspiration that I could carry in my heart. And very humbly, without losing my inner dignity, you know. And so I think that's what makes the impact.
I've just heard from Dang Sifu's request. Can we learn from 觀自在菩薩?
Okay, I can try. Yes, last night I had to know it for that. Okay.
觀自在菩薩，行深般若蜜多時，照見雲皆空，道一切苦愛，舍利子，色不異空，空不異色，色即是空，空即是色，受想行識，亦復如是。
Certainly, there is a
Today I didn't make mistakes.
there is a Chinese saying, saying 聽出有, and in literal English translation is even your earwax comes out because it's so nice.
I hope I can sing the full someday. So I will need to ask Miss Chen for help. This much also Miss Chen taught me. So because last time in April when I had the event, I wanted to do something different. As I'm in Hong Kong, something in Cantonese.
Do you think you will make a record in Chinese?
Sorry?
Make a record.
Made
in
an
Chinese.
album.
I would love to, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In Cantonese.
Huh? I did sing in Chinese, but I can't remember the lyrics now. What's it? Very recently I recorded that.
So Ani, I found you have once said that every individual has their own potential in doing something and making a difference in society. So I hope each of us, maybe, well, I can't sing well, but maybe I can cultivate another kind of string. I wish I could do something like Ani is doing or has been doing. So let's be our own bodhisattva. So 要做自己的菩薩, just like the song that Miss Eliza Chen performed last night.
Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
That's absolutely, but as I said, everyone can be different, not necessary to be doing the same thing. If you start singing, I will lose my job. So please don't.
I'll do something else to make it.
Or play guitar maybe. Then we can do it together.
Okay, I'll enroll a course tomorrow, a guitar course tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully. All right. I know the time, and I think we enjoy the sharing made by Ani, and I think maybe you have some questions to ask. If you have any questions about Ani's singing or her career in helping others, so feel free to ask. Take this good opportunity to ask any question, or to you if you want to know more. Then
Thank you, Ani, for coming, making time to share with us. We would like to hear more about what you are doing right now, taking care of the nuns, I think nearly 100 in the nunnery, and also sending kids into boarding school. Can you share more with us? And do you sing with them once in a while or every day?
I make them sing for me because I'm always singing for others. So I have some of my children who sings beautifully too. So I'm very happy about that. And happy about the fact that I'm able to encourage them to sing more. And I believe that singing and dancing is something positive, you know. Sometimes we say, oh, you're a nun, you're not supposed to sing and dance. I said, but how can you say a monk and nun are not supposed to be happy? You know? And people seem to have the notion that nuns and monks should be looking very serious all the time. And that's so boring. You know? I'm totally not against that, to be very honest. I think we actually should be more happy. Because we are free from many of the boundaries, burdens, limitations, and so we should be more an example to the society to be happy, very free-minded, happy, easygoing, and chill out, type of thing. And at times, what's wrong with moving your body in certain forms? I wouldn't mind, But yet, of course, there's a certain condition or certain circumstances. Of course, you have to, as there's a saying, you have to dance along the beat. So I would not consider start dancing when there's a serious ceremony going on, of course. When there's people in such atmosphere where people are in the mood of singing and dancing, then you just participate. You share the joy. You just be happy. That's in the nunnery where I used to belong. I used to be the performer. Really, I would dress up sometime very in a disguised way. I would have mustaches on my head, and occasionally I tried to make my teacher laugh. So those days in the nunnery we didn't have electricity. So in the night we had like candlelight. So the things are not so as brightly clear as we would have with the electricity. So I would end up dressing something very funny and mustache, and then send one of the nuns to tell my teacher, there's someone from the village who wants to pay visit and pay respect. So, and then my teacher would say, okay, send it. So I would go and act very funny, and I would go to him and see if he recognizes me or not. And
did he recognize you?
First he would not, until I smiled. And then once he recognized me, then he would say, oh, you naughty girl. And then he would laugh and laugh and laugh. And that gives me so much joy. And that's what I used to do with the other nuns as well. And sometimes, occasionally, we have to take turn to be the cook in the kitchen or the cleaner in the temple, so one month each. So even if my turn is there to clean the temple, I would be always singing and dancing and mobbing and making others dance and sing. And so some of the little bit conservative senior nuns, she's really gone crazy. And some would say, oh, she's hopeless. And some would enjoy and laugh and smile at me, but would hesitate to participate with me. So even in the kitchen, I would cook and dance, and at that time I was very lucky. I had a tape recorder, so I would play the tape recorder and play some music, Western music or Hindi music or anything. I would dance to it, sing along and loudly, you know. So I used to be like that. So I understand the feeling that when you are a 13-year-old girl, you're just a 13-year-old girl. When you expect 13-year-old girl to behave like a 40-year-old lady, it's unpractical, you know. So that's what I try to understand that in my kids. So in my school, my kids, they will play football, they will play basketball. I let them, they love to play badminton, they love to sing, they love to dance. I said, do it, do it. But when you have to study, you study. When you have to pray, pray. I said, whatever you do it well. That's all that matters. And be happy. So my kids, I have around 80-something students now. Kunchok is one of the first batch. When she came to me, she was about 8. You know. Now she's 26. Yeah. So similar, I have many girls like her. She's now grown up to the point that now she manages our administration within her capacity, whatever she could do. And the best she's doing now is she's running a preschool. And that is to help single mothers. In our country, a lot of women are single mothers because men seems to have the attitude that once they want to change women, they change like they change their mobile or cars. So they just leave for another woman. And this woman is left with a child and she's unable to work, make a living. So understanding that and how I can make their life at least a little bit more easier. So that's where I asked her to do this project, and she and 2 other nuns are actually running this project. How many kids we have now? Huh? 20 kids. So the mothers comes in the early morning, drops their kids, and they go to work. And in the evening, they come and pick up their kids. And during the day, we feed the kids, we educate the kids, play with the kids, and so it's wonderful what she's doing. And the other is like, as I started Arya Brother School, is where I have girls similar like her. This year, 2 of the students finished their master degrees from the University of Benares in Buddhist studies, and one is already taking the responsibility as the principal of the school. She's now taking care of the rest of the kids at the school. So I'm lighter. And the other one, I proposed her to take responsibility at the hospital that I run. But she would need training. She also finished her master's degree, but she would need a special training to actually handle hospital, or how to run a hospital. So we are very much hoping that she would go for that. And we have a total, how many? We are in college, but the 8 students who are going to college. And how many finished college now? 6 finished college. Because they keep the record. And all I have to do is just give them the check. Every month they come up with a list of the cost that I have to bear. So I just write the check and give it. And the rest they do take care of everything. And we have another nun we call the Little Choying, Chao Choying. I'm the Lao Choying. So her project is very recently, after the earthquake, managing to put children who are affected by the earthquake in one way or the other way, who are belonging to single mothers or no parents. And some having both parents but unable to take care of the children. So, till now we have been able to successfully put 95, 98 already. Oh, you are updated now. Because she's volunteering to help in that case as well. So we have been able to successfully put 98 children into school. Boarding school, actually, especially boarding school. The reason why is that these kids, if they live with their relatives at home and go for the day schooling, we're not sure that the food and everything, the rest of the care that has to be taken care, I don't know how properly they will be taken care because they're belonging to the relatives, not the real parents. So if it is in a boarding school, then every kids are treated equally. The foods they will have will be same. And then the tuition and so on, everything that is there, the requirements are fulfilled equally. So with that confidence, we started putting them in a boarding school. So we had the mission to put 100 this year. So far it's 98. I'm sure soon it will become 100. And next year, I hope 200. And every year, I hope, I pray that we will be able to put more and more, take care of more and more kids, raise more and more kids with better understanding of life, not only in terms of academic education, but with spiritual education. So that we don't build more machines, we have more humans. Responsible humans in the society. That's my aspiration. And besides Ayatollah School, I have started a hospital,
A kidney hospital?
Kidney hospital in 2010, dedicated to my mother as a gesture of my love and my respect and my gratitude towards my mother. And the experience that she had to go through with this disease and through which I also went through it, made me realize that there's so much that needs to be done. Because during the time when I was trying to take care of my mom, there wasn't much of a facility to take care of these people. And then the treatment, though it's not really a real treatment, but the temporary relief that can be offered is the dialysis service. And that's very expensive. And even for me, it was very tough and challenging at that time. But yet, I mean, I feel so blessed that I was able to fulfill the needs. But at the same time, I was able to take that experience as to understand that something needs to be done. And that's why I'm given this experience. So when I saw my mom a little depressed, as when people get sick and unwell, so they seem to have a little lower weak tendency of keeping themselves up with their spirits. So I told her, Mom, don't be sad. You can maybe visualize yourself that you are taking all the sentient beings suffering into you, and then you exchange, you offer them the well-being of their health and happiness in their life. But at the same time, I want to tell you that through this experience, I have developed a thought to do something about it. And I promise to you, as my love to you, I will start doing something about it. In the future, I will try to establish a hospital where I will be able to take care of these people. I know I won't be able to totally eliminate their suffering, but I know I have the ability to at least reduce the amount of difficulty that they have to face financially or in terms of other facilities. And today I'm happily I can say that we have been able to achieve quite a lot, which was not there during the time of my mom when she was sick. So that is another thing that I could do, and I hope I can do more. As you mentioned about the UNICEF thing earlier, from the very beginning, I always had this voice, a about the rights of women and girls in the society. I always questioned it. I dared to question. And probably one of the symbols that you can see in me, the gesture that I exhibited was escaping from the home by becoming a nun. And in many ways, I often had the attitude to express that if man can do it, why women can't do it? That was my biggest question in life. And often, whenever I was given the opportunity or I saw the opportunity, I grabbed it to exhibit that I can do it. And that's why I think I became the first driving nun in Nepal. So, because monks were driving around and they were happily thought it's normal. And when we talk about nuns driving, I said, are you crazy? And then I said, why not? Why not? If I can be capable of taking care of others, why not? And I started driving. At the beginning, people thought I was really, I was anyhow labelized as someone crazy and not disciplined, and so in a way they said, she's not a good nun. So that was how I was labelized. I'm like, not a good nun. But I don't think it really affected me. So somehow I try to give voice. But nowadays when I give voice more in a polite way. And not so in an aggressive way. Earlier it used to be a little bit aggressive. I do realize that. So it's when you oppose something or you raise voice against something, I realize now that it's not necessary to be aggressive. You can say the same thing in a polite way. And that's what I'm trying to do these days. I've become more intelligent. And UNICEF is an institute that I work with very closely. And I believe in taking care of women and children's rights. And it gives me immense pleasure and deep satisfaction when I'm able to, not only from the surface level, now educating kids and running hospital itself is, at some point, yes, it is very important to do for us. But when we are able to work very deeply, like improving the legislation of the government, how the government look at children's right and women's right is very important. And that is, for the long run, more sustainable. And that's what UNICEF seems to be doing it, and I'm very happily involved in that. So they not only try to improve the legislation in the government, they very closely work with the related ministry of children and women in this case, and health and hygiene. And then not only that, they try to provide the trainings for the civil servants in order to deliver that kind of services, and then the knowledge, to share the knowledges among the local people in villages. And they try to monitor and occasionally evaluate also with the partnership of local NGOs and so on. So it's wonderful. And the way they work is a little bit different from the way I work, but yet I see that way of working is very important at the same time. Yeah. So
You should have a strong team to work with you. So
I am not an easy person to work with, to be very honest, really. You see, at times I take excuse like, okay, I'm not perfect, so what? At times, when I'm in front of you, I'm with you. Once I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. So I'm unable to keep things in my mind, too many things, and be with someone. At times she also looks at me like, where are you? Kind of. Okay, I am here. So I'm very much, I have this kind of problem. But some of those, like Selena has been very patiently and very kindly helping me out with coordination with the people and organizing things. So it has helped me really immensely, and I cannot think of them but as my protectors, my angels, who comes in very. Otherwise, I'm not easy to work with. Usually in this modern world, you immediately want a reply, you want answers, you want decisions, and so on. I'm constantly moving. So wherever I reach, I am there. So it's tough for me. But I do have wonderful people helping me out, which is a blessing, truly a blessing.
It is the atmosphere that you have created with your love, compassion, and balm.
I try,
Bodhicitta.
but at times I'm sure even Selena feels frustrated.
You understand how busy she really is, and she's running around in the whole world. Sometimes I lost track of her, where she is now. It seems like she's back to Kathmandu, but well, she's in India. Sometimes it's like that. But I think working with Ani is quite a good experience because
It gives you a lot of patience.
of course you have to have a lot of patience. This is one thing. The other thing is you have to think of things out of the boxes because usually with the experience working for corporates for a long time, we always have this very organized logistic in your mind that things should happen in certain ways. But then when there is such case coming, then you have to break through all this mindset just to keep it flowing. Yeah, and once I'll give an example of what happened for the kids that were sent into the boarding school. I think it's a very good example that I always told my friend. In the beginning, we got a donation, a certain amount of money, and I was calculating the money with the training. And then I said that, how would it be possible that we can send 100 kids to boarding school? We don't have such money, the budget is not enough. And then, of course, they told me that. And then I come up with a solution, saying that maybe we just put part of them into boarding school, and another part of them, just to the ordinary school. We simply don't take so many children. We cannot take care of them. I try to think in a logical way. Because I work in corporates before, and in corporate we work according to the budget. If you cannot deliver it, how can you accept this? You will not say yes to a project that you cannot deliver. So I said to them, and then I said, listen, Selena, just do it. Just makes the aspiration that we can help. And then we'll do it, and things will happen. So I stopped and I think, okay, let's just think out of the box and don't let the budget be one of the limitation for what we are going to do. So this is one of the good things that I've learned from.
Sometimes I'm crazy like that. When I started the construction in my school, actually, I had only like 2 million rupees. It's like $20,000 only. But I thought, if I keep the money waiting for that to be bigger, I might end up spending that money as well. So I started digging the foundation. I said, at least I would have foundation done, And then slowly, not only foundation, continued with the pillars and the walls and the ceilings and so on. So it seems that if you carry a very auspicious aspiration, it seems that the whole. It's not necessary always to have visible, physical people to be present there to help you financially, but I think that you will be followed and supporting you who are not necessarily visible. At times, really, I swear, I do feel like there's so many of them are around me. I really do feel. And sometimes some things happens that, oh my God, I just thought about it, and it's happening now. Isn't it? Many of the experiences. And I always tell her, see, I told you.
And then later on, I learned to trust her.
So that's how I've been doing things. And it's so much joy, really. And when you go for a mission, that's there's some challenges that you might have to face, but yet not having to face it. See, we're through it. You know, like, it's the sense of victory. This sense of victory is so amazing, wonderful feeling. So I'm kind of a little bit addicted to it. So,
And it is the law of attraction that even it is invisible, not tangible, but anyhow, by law of attraction, you attract the people of same energy, same aspiration, and same mission or same goals.
true, very true. I mean, I think the blessing that came in my life as Master Hinyong also, I cannot think but as that, real true blessing. Otherwise, I really had no idea about Master Hinyong before. And I had no idea that she would know me or, like that. I mean, I know I'm a little bit popular compared to the others, but I don't consider I'm that popular, like not Madonna or anything, make my words like that. But somehow I feel, but then when I received the message from Miss Alyssa Chen that Master really sends her blessing always and wants to support and encourage me, I was like, wow, that's very wonderful. And that's how I only felt. And then later when I was feeling sick and I heard that she was also not well, and somehow I wanted to pay my respect to her, and I said, is there any possibility that I can, somehow something came in me, I felt that I want to pay my respect. I thought, can you see if there's a possibility? At least to say thank you. But then did not really have the imagination or the expectation that it would turn out in such a way that it really filled my heart with so much warmth and encouragement. So I think blessings are always there around. When all we need is to be able to receive them with the, it's example like when you have a container and you want to put something very special thing in it. If your container itself is already contaminated with some dirty things already filled up there, even if you get something to put in there, you put it in and it will be contaminated again. So I think at times it's very important for us to keep that container very clean, so that whatever blessing you receive, then you can keep it the best, cleanest way, purest way. And that's how I try to, when somebody comes, and some people comes and introduce me to, this person's very rich. This person might be able to really sponsor a lot of it. And I really don't expect that. I mean, of course, I appreciate, let's say, for instance, Selina's intention, her best intention towards supporting me. And I often tell her, let's see if this person is a nice person. And you see, if this person has the money, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to immediately expect them to give me money. It's his karma, it's my karma. That will decide eventually. But yet, of course, I mean, goodness, good activity does inspire people. It really gives good, joyful experiences to people, inspires people. But then I try not to really carry that kind of thoughts. Whatever I have to do, I started this project. First, it's my responsibility to fulfill the needs of that project, because I started it. I cannot just simply say to people like, here, I'm doing something good, you should give me money. That's not right, I feel. This is my way of thinking. So, but yet, I am so happy that I'm blessed by every wonderful thing we have.
Sometimes it's not really about the fruit we enjoy at the end, but it is the process. While you can work with the people, the kind people, with the same goal and aspiration, then you work together hand in hand, heart to heart, and then you break all kinds of the hurdles, and then until the end you enjoy the fruit together. And then this is the most important.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yes. So, any more questions from anyone of you? Feel free to ask.
Annie, thanks very much for the quality time you spend with us. You know, in this society or with the role that we play multiple, like I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, you know, we play a lot of roles. But then, so there are so many emotions as we mentioned, and we are ordinary people, so we are influenced by that as well. So how can we keep our container like purified, as you mentioned? So it may be contaminated, but how can we purify that so that we can have the willpower, the strength, you know, to receive all the good blessings?
Okay. I don't know if I have a very clear technical answer to that, but yet I think the simplicity of your heart and being honest towards your responsibilities to the most extended level you can carry, and with sincerity, I think that's enough. It's not necessary for you to be the superwoman, you know. I think whatever we do do it to the fullest sincerity we can. I mean, sometimes it's not necessary that we are able to do everything. So at times it's okay if there are some moments that you are not able to live up to your expectation. That's okay. Maybe it's happening for some good. And this is the reason why I say this is because last year when I got sick, I had this very scary allergy attack, where I was like feeling, oh my God, now I don't have much time, because my breath was actually literally like, it's blocking. It was like slowly, my space is less and less and less, and I was very clear about the fact that if I don't get to the hospital soon means I'm dead. It was very clear. And then I asked the friends, you know, take me to the nearest hospital as soon as possible, as soon as possible, as soon as possible. And then I was taken by my friends to the hospital, and then of course in the IC emergency room they did everything, I was calmed down, and then I realized suddenly I'm allergic to many foods, and I'm unable to enjoy many foods and so on. But at that time even I was happy that I'm sick. It might sound very crazy, but I shared with her. So it somewhere, it gave me a lot of happy thoughts. First of all, when I got sick, I realized there's some friends who are really true friends. They are there no matter what. And they are ready to do everything. And when you realize that that kind of true friends are there, it gave me so much of, you know, good feeling, warm feeling, really, really good feeling. And then I wouldn't have had that experience if I wasn't sick. When Selena was there, she followed me all the way to Mumbai to take care of me in the hospital. And then the most funny part was she's smuggling some of the food which she was not allowed to bring in the hospital room, and I was wanting. Yes.
Food.
Yeah. Some Indian snacks that I love. Because anyhow, I was taking an anti-allergen medicine, so I so like, can you bring some? So that kind of laughter, the joy that for someone to be there. And some of the friends around the world says, oh, bring her to some from Malaysia or China or Hong Kong or Singapore. So bring her to Singapore, we will do everything. We will go, let you see the best doctor. It was these kind of care that I felt so wonderful. And the other thing is I got a chance to relax, take a breath. I was lying down, I was pampered, you know. You know, so everyone came and gave me so much love, a lot of sympathy, and so I think I'm the one. So I enjoyed that, really. I enjoyed that. And the other thing is that I often used to feel when I used to go to China or Hong Kong, people, when they show their love and affection to me, means they take me to eat, to the best restaurants. Yeah? I keep on eating. Sometimes is a courtesy eating, Even though you're full, you just want to eat it to make someone happy because they were showing me so much love. So I ended up eating a lot, and then there was a lot of the time I felt like, oh, this rice, these weeds, and these potatoes, and so on. I really should stop eating them because I'm putting on weight, I'm getting unhealthy, and so on. And suddenly I realized I'm allergic to them. So I don't have to eat them. So I sometimes say as a joke that we have to be very careful for what we wish for. So something like that. Things that happens in your life, sometimes you can't change it. But I think that we have the power to perceive them in a different way that will be able to help you to see things in a better way. That brings more joy to your life. So that's how I feel, I think. And as you have different roles, I did too. I did try to fulfill the role and responsibility the best I could. Some of them I failed, but no regrets. At least I can try. I tried. So yeah, if you regret and you start to having very strong, stubborn desire to reach certain things, and I think it will be like banging your head on a rock. So.
Annie, we last met in your April concert. In a country where the status of women is almost nowhere, when you first have the idea of establishing your kidney dialysis center, what was the first main obstacle that you met, and how did you go about clearing it?
Obstacles? Well, yes, I mean, as sometimes, which is natural, I want to do best. I mean, I want to really do the best. But yet, I have limited resources. So, I mean, the intelligent thing to do is to deal with what you are capable of. Then you slowly try to extend the size of your ability, and that's how I did. The challenges in Nepal is that, as again, the women, gender equality is a big issue. According to the survey, 99% of the organ donors are women. Men they're not easily ready to donate their organs to the women. So, as a small effort, we started with saying that, whoever men donate their organs to their women, we will compensate this person with 50,000 rupees, which is about $500. And that's a good amount of money for poor people. So that has helped. Now the numbers are raising. And the other thing is, recently we established a law that it is okay to donate organs of people who are in brain death cases or accidental cases. And then people can register whoever. Some of the earlier, it's only possible to have a transplant if you have a relative to donate their organ to you, close relative. And for those who doesn't have relative, or let's say orphan, it's not possible for them. So now the law act is passed, is such that anyone can receive organs if there is someone dying or dead or anything like that. But in that law, we made sure that women are the first priority to be given the kidney. If there are 5 men and there's 1 woman, woman probably might have registered much later, means she still gets the first priority. And similarly, achievement is such that now that we've been able to convince the government to make the dialysis free forever for poor people. So that's a big achievement. And so it's still going on. Challenges are there. It's overall in the mentality, the perception of the society is such that life of a man is more precious than a woman's life. And that is the very, very cause of all the problem. Very, very much deep problem in our society. And I believe that until and unless we are able to solve that cause, still we will have to challenge, face many challenges in society.
It's still a long way to go to educating people.
Yes, educating people at the same time. Of course, I want to make this hospital a bigger place, more comfortable. I have a fantasy actually. I have a fantasy of a hospital where people walk in with pain and feels like they're walking in a spa. Not like going to a hospital, going into a spa for a holiday and where we are, like detoxified, cleansed and healed and happily enjoy some moment there and come out. That's my fantasy, but let's see. It's slowly but surely it will happen.
Make it realize it so that we will definitely make it.
Yeah, all I've done so far is whatever I wish. It has been just a matter of time. Oh, sure.
गति गति पार गति पार संगति बोधि स्व तद्य गति गति पार पार संगति बोधि स्व तद्य गति गति पार गति पार संगति बोधि स्व
I'm sure in these 2 hours we all have had a wonderful time, precious moments shared by you. I hope that we did have an afternoon of serenity and calmness, and of course joy and happiness because of your presence today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you all also. I hope I made sense. Whatever I said, if not, forgive me. My teacher always says, maybe you can understand it or take it as if when a stupid speaks, the intelligent learns. So some of the things is my own thoughts, my own experiences, my own understanding. And that doesn't mean that I'm very highly learned or I know everything. So just based on my own personal experiences, I have been sharing it with you. So it worked for me. Whatever works for me doesn't necessarily, I claim that it will work for you as well. But definitely some of the things I feel that it's universal law. The law of the nature will apply to everyone equally. So maybe it will help. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We wish you all the best and wish you, your team, and Nepalese people all the best. And let's be our own bodhisattvas, yes, and let's cultivate the environment atmosphere for ourselves.
And I hope I can learn this song someday. Let's be our own. Yeah. I mean, but the way she sang last night was amazing. I'm like, wow.
Everyone is unique, Ani. So
I know.
So next time on the stage, maybe we'll see Miss Eliza Chen and Ani Choying both perform on the stage this song, Let's Be Our Own Bodhisattva together. Let's make this inspiration. And it's just a matter of time. We'll see it one day. Yes. Once again, thank you so much.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So 相識。